Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. Most in-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit dxengineering.com/hamnation. By Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home plays a big role in your life. That's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. It lets you apply simply and understand the entire mortgage process fully, so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage for you. Get started at rocketmortgage.com/hamnation. And by ICOM. For more information, visit icomamerica.com/hamnation. This is Ham Nation, episode number 354 for June 6th, 2018. Field Day plans.
Hello, everybody. It's Bob Heil. I welcome you to Ham Nation. This is a show about ham radio and lots of other things, especially tonight. It's a huge show. Of course, all of our shows are big. This one's huge. Lots of incredible information, so don't go away. Get one of these out. You're going to have to take notes, and you will like it. You really will. And we have a few really cool people with us tonight, too. Lots of guests. First of all, let's talk to my co-host, Gordon West, out in California. How you doing, Gordo?
Well, I'm doing great, Bob, and I enjoyed your organ playing on shortwave. I heard that new frequency loud and clear this weekend. VHF UHF contest, and as everyone will tell you, 6 meters was really honking the last few days. Also this weekend, Limark, their Long Island Outdoor Ham Fest, formerly Briar Cliff College. It's going to be in Bethpage, New York, Sunday, June 10. And next week, we talk all about a brand new book that I just received, and it's all about how to program any kind of handheld radio in the field, and it's just about programming. It doesn't go into all the other things that other instruction books may have, but it's great. We'll go over that next week. Bob, back to you.
Okay, very good. Well, we have a lot of guests. Tim Duffy's with us. Chris is with us in his drone. It's really going to be fun, and we appreciate you being here. Hi to you, Tim. You doing good? Or are you probably on 6 meters all day, right?
I wish I was on 6 meters. We're helping other guys get on 6 meters here at DX Engineering. So what a wonderful time of the year for sporadic E on 6 meters.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And Chris, it's really good to have you. And I heard about some of the things you've been doing with the drone, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But thank you for being here, and we'll get right back to you. But everybody, before we get too far, hi, Chris, there he is, NI7I. It's sure good to have you with us. Before we get along, we got to be a little bit, not a whole lot serious. Today is what? You know what the day is? It's the anniversary of D-Day. And on June 6, 1944, I hope this picture will work for you. They landed on Normandy under the most ridiculous complications. And what was so interesting about it is that it was the largest seaborne invasion in history, but the operation had to begin on time, and it was the liberation of Germany, who occupied Europe, and they wanted to go in and liberate all of that from the Nazis. But the problem was they had to pay attention to the phase of the moon, the tides, and the time of day, which meant a few days a month were deemed suitable. Kind of sounds like ham radio, doesn't it? We pay attention to all of those atmospheric things. But my father-in-law, so many people, and each one of you listening, I'm sure, have some relative that had something to do with World War II, and it might have been way back down in there, but you are a part of it, and thank goodness that they did make that happen. But we move on, and I'm going to take a couple of minutes here. I'm going to play something for you.
No, I copy you, Bob. K9 Echo India Delta, this is Kilo Papa 4 Echo Ita Tango. Good evening, you 5x7 today, 5x7 here in Foxtrot Kilo 168. Foxtrot Kilo 168, my name is Jose, over.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming back. Good luck and work lots of contacts today. This is K9EID in the Ozarks, 7-3.
Bye-bye, good luck, and yo dejo Perisenca, and I hope to meet you again during the summer. Bye-bye. QSL, looking North America.
There he is in his great station. I'm tuning around on 6 meters, and it was crazy today. And all of a sudden, it got a little bit quiet, and bingo, he comes up. Well, then what do? Well, we're seeing all kinds of signals. But then I listened down a little bit. The band was full, absolutely full. And I'm listening up the band, and I hear Mary. And I've heard Mary on for years.
EID in the Ozarks, WA0CSL. Go ahead.
Well, hi, Mary. This is K9EID, and it's so nice to hear you. What a big signal you have. We're down in the Ozarks, out in the country north of Springfield, Missouri, and just wanted to say hello. What a beautiful signal, and glad to hear the band so crazily open. It's like 6 meters should be this way all the time. I appreciate you coming back. This is K9EID.
Yeah, okay, very good. I forgot your name. I'm sorry. You want to give that to me again?
Yeah, my name is Bob. And I spell that with 1 O. Over.
That's a good one. What's your grid square down there in the Ozarks?
Okay, well, we could be here all day listening to all of that, folks, but we better get on with the show. Why I do that for you is this weekend is the VHF contest. And if you've never even thought about working 6 meters, or 2 meters, or 220, get on. Just get on. And I don't have an antenna. You'd be surprised. When the band is open, 6 meters is really a very forgiving band. If that baby's open and you got any kind of wire hanging up there, give out a call. You might be amazed. And you don't need a kilowatt. You don't need all kinds of fancy dancy stuff. Just get on the air, because it's going to be really fun this weekend. I just have a little inclination that it's going to be a big deal. So I just wanted to put that in tonight. I made a bunch of recordings today, but maybe we'll cover that again before field day. But this weekend is the VHF contest, and you really want to be a part of that. So we'll talk about it next week a little more and see how you did. But in the meantime, we got some field day tips, because, field day's just right around the corner. And I got a notion the other day, because these things are becoming very, very popular, and a lot of people don't know about them, a thing called a triplexer. And the man to answer that is Tim Duffy. So, Gordon, why don't you and Tim tell us, what is a triplexer? Why do we need it?
Okay. Thanks, Bob. And Tim Duffy, president of Radio Club of America. Radio Club of America, the oldest ham radio organization. Tim, how about telling us about two awards that went out to some of our board members? Tim?
Yes, very excited about this, Gordon. Two of our directors were recently honored during the Dayton Hamvention. First was Chip Cohen, Whiskey 1 Yankee Whiskey, W1YW, and Chip was honored as the 2018 Hamvention Technical Achievement Award winner for one of his most recent patents. He developed a cloaking device Chip has been awarded over 40 patents, and he has worked tirelessly in the area of antennas, and we're very proud to have him as a Radio Club of America fellow, as well as on the board of directors, as well as Carol Perry. And you've seen Carol Perry at many of the ham fests and in high schools across the country. Her call sign is Whiskey Bravo 2 Mike Golf Papa, WB2MGP. Carol Perry, for over 30 years, has hosted the Youth Forum at the Dayton Hamvention, and she was honored. She went into the CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame, very prestigious Hall of Fame, recognized for her contribution to youth and developing youth in our great hobby of amateur radio. So, Gordon, the Radio Club of America couldn't be more proud of their 2 directors, 2 fellows, and the rest of the members of the Radio Club.
Oh, that is terrific, Tim. Well, we are so proud of both of them, and can't wait for the next Radio Club of America get-together in New York City. We'll be there, and I know you'll be there. And, you know, we're getting ready for Field Day, Tim, and we've got that big beam up in the air. It's a tri-bander, 10, 15, and 20. I think it came from DX Engineering. And, you know, I've got to, like, share my coax. You know, I want to be on 10. They want to be on 20. What's the way to get a 3-element or 4-element or 5-element tri-band beam to work on all the bands at once between 3 different radios? Is there a cure for that?
There is, and it's a great thing. It's called a triplexer, and I have one here. This is the triplexer that we sell at DX Engineering, and you put that beam antenna that you just talked about that works on all 3 bands. You put it in right here, and it works on 10 meters, 15 meters, and 20 meters all at the same time. And Gordon, with your help, we can show some slides just how this magic box works. 1 antenna with 3 radios.
Well, this is great, and I'm glad to see it. So, Tim, how about this? Oh, there's that antenna. We'd love to get that up at Field Day. So, Tim, what's the process of feeding 1 coax through the antenna, yet 3 coaxes to 3 radios?
So here is a tri-band antenna. Works on 20 meters, 15 meters, and 10 meters. This is a classic tri-bander. It has monoband elements for all 3 bands, and it has 1 feed line. So let's remember that it just has 1 feed line for all 3 bands. And the idea of the triplexer is to split it off into those 3 bands so that we can have 3 radios running at the same time on that 1 feed line and 1 antenna, which makes it a whole lot more effective for field day operation.
I bet it does, Tim. And what are the radio requirements? Just any great radio, such as the ICOM line of gear. And, oh, look at that. Looks like the SWR plots, huh?
Right. So here, Gordo, we show that, you know, this tri-band antenna, this Skyhawk tri-band antenna, has a low SWR. The SWR is on the left-hand side of this chart, and you can see that the low SWR is at 3 segments in this spectrum. So it's got a low SWR on 20 meters, a low SWR on 15 meters, and a low SWR on 10 meters. Wouldn't it be great to take advantage of all 3 bands at the same time during your field day operation?
Wow, I think that is terrific. Now, is there any desensitization to the other rigs when you're on one band and they're on another?
That's the great thing about a triplexer. The filters are positioned such that none of the radios on the other bands knows about the other radios. So the great thing is you can be on 10 meters, and you know, Gordon, during field day, 10 meters can open up with sporadic E, and you don't even know that 15 and 20 meters is working, guys, at the same pace, and none of the radios get desensitized at all.
Oh, that is terrific, Tim. Oh, there's some great radios, huh?
Here's some great radios. The software-defined radios from ICOM are a great radio, but you can use just about any HF radio, and they're well protected. You don't have to worry about the front ends of the receivers blowing up. But in this case, we decided we're going to have an all ICOM field day, and we're going to use an IC 7200 on 10 meters, an IC 7300 on 15 meters, and the brand new IC 7610. We're going to use that up on 20 meters, and we can use all three radios at the same time, one feed line going to one tri-band Yagi.
Wow, that is terrific. Now, is there any length or shortness required once you split out between the three radios of the coax?
No, once you come out, once you split that out through that triplexer that I showed, you can have any length of line going between the filter and the radio. So even if it's in an adjacent tent, it'll work just fine. Here you see the triplexer, 1, 2, and 3, of 20 meters, 15 meters, and 10 meters, splitting out to the three bandpass filters. It's important, not only do you have the DX Engineering triplexer, but you also have filters for both 10, 15, and 20 meters, 28, 21, and 14 megahertz. And then from there, you can take coax to those radios, and they can be in different tents, located several hundred feet away. No problem at all.
Now, Tim, will the triplexer work on a trapped three-element beam, such as a Cushcraft or some of those?
Oh, it works on Cushcraft, High Gain, Mosley, any good tri-band antenna. We ran tests on a TA33 Junior from Mosley, so and that's got a very short boom, but no problem at all using a trapped tri-bander or the monoband tri-bander like the Skyhawk from DX Engineering. Any one of them, the triplexer along with those bandpass filters, no problem at all. There are the bandpass filters, Gordo, that it takes to add on to the triplexer to get all the isolation that you need and make sure you don't hear the other bands. You're sharing one coax, three radios. How cool is that?
Oh, I think that is great. Now, Tim, if we had an antenna and let's say 15 meters had sort of a elevated SWR, what is the point where the triplexer is going to go, oh, no, sorry, not on this band? What's the SWR of the beam must be?
The SWR is preferably below 2.5 to 1. And one of the things that really makes that work between the triplexer and those bandpass filters for the individual bands is the jumper cables. And Gordon, you know that it's very important to have good isolation. The RG400 jumpers that come with this kit have double silver-plated shields to make sure that you have maximum isolation. And we use the high-quality Amphenol connectors on there to make sure that you have the maximum isolation, even if the SWR gets above 2 to 1.
Oh, that is great, Tim. How about describing this? Looks like the finished product, huh?
This is really how it comes together, Gordon. You take your tri-band antenna. This is the DX Engineering Skyhawk antenna, and you can see the coax comes down the tower, plugs into the antenna input on the triplexer, and then the three outputs of the triplexer go to the three bandpass filters, one for 10, 15, and 20 meters. It's kind of a magical thing. As Bob said, up until a few years ago, this technology had not been developed. And then the output of those three filters go to three radios. You can transmit on them, you can receive on them, all simultaneously on one antenna.
Wow, 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 wow. All right, bottom line, what is the approximate selling price that the system will go for, Tim?
Yeah, this system is right around the the $500 area, but boy, it saves having three different antennas. You can have one antenna now, for this system that can do three bands at the same time.
Oh, that is terrific. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining Ham Nation tonight, and it was great to see you at Contest University in Ohio. Any final words about what you're going to be doing this weekend for the VHF-UHF contest, Tim?
Well, I'm going to be using this RG400 cable to make sure that my VHF signals get out good. But Gordon, I have a real quick story about Carol Perry, who just won the award to go into the CQ Hall of Fame. When she was going back home from Hamvention, we all love Hamvention, she was flying back to New Jersey. She got stopped at TSA. And she got stopped at TSA because she had a jacket on that the Dayton Amateur Radio Association gave her, and it had a patch. It said Amateur Radio, and the TSA representative said, "I think we need to do more checking on you because I know that women are not amateur radio operators." That was said to Carol Perry, and so boy, does she have a story to tell. But the long and the short of it is, at the Dayton Hamvention, all of these guys were in line to get through TSA security, and there was quite the uproar. So she got finally through and said, women can be hams too, and some of the best hams that we have are YL and XYL operators. So I thought you might enjoy that little closing note there, Gordo.
Well, knowing Carol, I am sure she prevailed coming from Staten Island, New York. You betcha. Well, Tim, thanks so much. I'll hear you this weekend on 6 meters or higher, and can't wait to hear all the great results from Field Day for those that are going to bring the system in, and with one tri-band beam, be able to run 3 separate bands, 3 separate radios, and wow, is that going to be great. Thank you so much, Tim, and that's a keeper. What do you think, Bob? Tim's got a real winner there, huh?
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hang on. I'm trying to do 3 different things. Listening to 6 meters and... Hey, Tim, that's great. Thank you. And it's going to help a lot of people. I mean, a lot. And it's new. I first saw that at Pacificon about 3-4 years ago. But the things were like $10,000. The guys had these filters, and oh wow! So good deal. I'm glad that you brought it aboard for the amateur radio guys, and we don't have to spend a lot of money. By the way, this is a new headset. If you guys haven't seen this, go to our website. It's the BM10 on steroids, and I've been using it on 6 all day. It's really good. I like it. It's not the Pro 7 for the outside noise, but it sure is light, and it works great. Well, we continue our Field Day applications, and this is a good one, and I really am glad that Chris could join us. This is Chris, NI7I. Chris, how are you? And glad to have you with us.
Well, I'm doing fine, Bob. Thanks for having me. I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm ready for the VHF UHF contest. I got my homebrew 10 gigahertz off-center fed dipole here ready to go. So,
hey, Chris, I'll work you on 10368.1 upper sideband. See you there.
I'll try and get out there. So yeah, thanks for having me, Bob. Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, I just wanted to tell the folks that whatever you're doing, stop it and check this out, because he's got a really cool way to get your antennas in the air. So I think we got a video, and why don't we just start out with that video, and you can talk through it and see what we're doing. So it's all yours, Chris.
This is an inexpensive DJI Phantom 3, and this is right now. It's you might be able to see the string coming up out of that bucket there, and basically I'm getting up. I took the drone up about twice the height of the tree I'm trying to go over. Okay, and then I got to get it centered up on the tree so I can get it right where I want it, and then just go straight over the tree. And you'll see that coming up in a second here. I've got to get situated. It was a little bit windy that day, but I got lucky. So I'm going over the top of the tree here, and then I want to advance the drone about another distance of the tree away from it, and then I turn sideways. And the way I have the string situated, all I have to do is strafe the drone to the right, and you should see the string drop right there. And so the next clip should show the string on the ground. There we go. So I was concerned that I went too far because the bucket was empty, and I walked a few feet away and found the end of the string that had come out of the bucket. Ooh. That was a relief. Didn't want to have to pull it down and do it. And I got it on the first shot. This was a lucky day. So there's the string going up over the tree on the starting side, and then I found the string down where the drone dropped it on the far side. And this particular string is pretty strong. It's not guy line string, but I used it to pull the guy line string up. And then after the guy line string was pulled up, I pulled up the legs of the G5. And this is after I was there by myself, so I didn't have anybody to hold the camera for, pulling the G5 up into the trees. But I got it just high enough to get the bottom of the ladder line right down to the ground. So that worked out pretty well. I don't know if I think we have stills to show too.
Chris, how much weight can you bring up on the string and the drone?
I've never really taken it to a limit. It didn't have any problem. It didn't even notice the string there, and that was probably 150 feet of that string. It's kind of a nylon braided string. So
wow.
The drone didn't even notice it. I'm sure I could have taken probably that whole spool up if I wanted to. But here's a shot of it ready to go. So you can kind of see the boom out to the side of the drone there. That's just a carbon fiber arrow shaft, and the string is lofted into. There we go. I cut a slit in the end of the arrow shaft, just big enough to accept the string with a knot on top of it. And that's literally all it is. And so this is the arrow shaft zip tied to the base of the drone. And this arrow shaft is super light. So it's, the drone doesn't even feel it. And I have it sticking out one side of the drone about, 18 inches at least. So it doesn't interfere with the props. If the string somehow does get above the props, which if you do it the way I did it, it shouldn't. And now this is the bucket with the string ready to pay out. I lofted it in there real light so that it would pull it from the top of the pile so there wouldn't be any snags or anything. And then this is the finished dipole. This is the G5, kind of sad looking ladder line there. I think we have a new G5 to pull up for field day, but this was kind of a proof of concept more than anything. I'm no expert in this. Definitely new to drones. In fact, I crashed it a couple of weeks ago pretty bad. Just finished putting it back together yesterday. So, but this is something I thought we would try. My Elmer N5DI, just a shout out to him. He's listening right now. He and I kind of collaborated on this, and some of these are his ideas. So, hi, Brett. This is the arrow shaft. I don't know if it was I don't know if I can get it in the camera very well. So I just took my bandsaw. You could do this with a hacksaw and cut a slit about an inch into it. And it's just big enough for that string to fit in there and the knot at the top. And when you fly the drone sideways this way, it gets to a point where it just gets caught up in the tree and it pulls it right out of that slot.
Oh,
what a great idea.
Great.
I got lucky.
Yeah. So, well, Gordo and I are going to have to take drone lessons.
Yeah,
you're right.
I wish I had. I may still.
I will guarantee you.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you, if we tried that, we'll crash it the first time. So there won't be a second.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us. That's what this show's all about. Just great information that everybody looks at. Not everybody needs, but most of us do. So I appreciate you being here, and we'll see how it goes for field day. Maybe we'll have you back and see if you had any other crazy things happen. So thanks very much, Chris. Well, before you leave, where are you on the air? Where do you work mostly? What bands and so on?
FT8, quite a bit of FT8, some CW for contesting or DX. Pretty much any band that's open, 80 to 10. I do 6, phone, FT8, and CW. So I don't have any specific area where I hang out a lot. Whatever's open.
Whatever's open. That's the way it is. Hey,
Right.
Thanks for being here with us. Really appreciate
Thanks a lot,
it. And
Bob. I'm
I know
honored and privileged.
appreciates your ideas. It's fabulous. So 7-3 to you, and we'll catch you on the air. And good luck on field day. Okay.
Thanks. You too. Thanks.
Hey, very good. Well, we're gonna move ahead here. We've got so much going on, and let's see what Don's got. Don's got some news for us, I think, first about DX Engineering, I think.
I do. But hi, Bob, and everybody else. Before we get into that, though, we're all talking about Field Day, and, we're heard on WTWW on 50.085 or 5.085 right now, and they've got a new frequency, 15.810. They're going to begin broadcasting on that later on tonight. Join us on 5085, though, after Ham Nation. They're going to have fun and requests. And also, speaking of Field Day, WTWW and Ted Randall and the QSO radio show, they do something kind of cool for Field Day every year is they take calls from Field Day locations and put people live on the air from your Field Day location. You can be on WTWW from your Field Day location, and we're going to find out what the chef is cooking, how conditions are, what the weather's like, how many people you've got there, any kind of Field Day news. And it's a great thing. I participated in that last year and co-hosted that for a little while. But so if you're going to be around a cell phone and WTWW on Field Day from your location, by all means, give Ted a call and you can find out more information. And email signal reports as well at email@WTWW.us. WTWW, a great partner of us here at Ham Nation. Another great partner is DX Engineering. And DX Engineering is just amazing. And all through the month of June, where everyone's getting ready for Field Day. But at the tail end of June and the beginning of July, DXers will have a rare chance to make a QSO with Baker Island, currently number 5 on the most wanted DXCC list. And the hams at DX Engineering do not want you to miss out on this great opportunity to break through the pileups and capture that all-time new one. Here's some of the great gear that can help you become part of Baker Island. KH1, KH7Z 2018. A wide selection of ACOM HF linear amplifiers are available at DX Engineering. Here are 3. The ACOM 1000, it's a 1,000-watt HF plus 6-meter amp. Great DXer value. Provides broadband input matching, which means your radio will always see a very good load across the entire 1.8 to 54 megahertz spectrum. The whole thing. User-friendly unit can withstand voltage drops for up to about 10 milliseconds and up to 300 watts of reflected power. If you want something a little bit smaller in size, the ACOM 600S 600-watt HF 6-meter linear amplifier has impressive remote control capabilities. Operations via a series of intuitive menus shown on a high-res colored display. Look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. It monitors input frequency and automatically switches bands to compensate for changes. And if you want to run a full gallon, the 2000A 1500-watt automatic HF linear amplifier from ACOM gives you fully automatic tuning and sophisticated digital control capabilities. Expect lightning-fast band switching and exceptionally low SWR with this amazing amplifier. And as Bob Heil can tell you, a quality headset is essential for any DXer's toolkit. And DX Engineering has a nice selection from leading brands, including Heil, professional series headsets. The Pro 7 headset, that is the creme de la creme, comes with a unique audio balance control and phase reversal switches that will do an amazing job of helping you dig out weak frequencies. If you've never used that phase reversal, it will completely amaze you. You can hear so much more with just that simple little tool. It's a great way to significantly improve copy during pileups. And the Heil Pro 7 features well-insulated ear pads and an innovative acoustic design that blocks out all background noise. So you got a generator not too far away from you. You won't hear it with these. And a boom mic that can be used on either the right or the left ear. And if you're serious about DXing, you're going to want to check out the OptiBeam HF directional antennas made exclusively available to North America from DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers more than 60 HF, Optibeam Yagi, and log cell antennas, and an impressive range of configurations and band coverages, including modest to massive monobanders, 40 through 10 meter multibanders, and 80 meter Yagis. Optibeam antennas deliver the highest possible gain, cleanest radiation patterns, efficiency, and top-level power handling. Popular models are in stock at DX Engineering and ready for fast shipment to your QTH in time for the Baker Island D-Expedition. Be sure to stop by, visit the DX Engineering booth at the 40th anniversary of Hamcom. That's coming up June 9th and 10th in Plano, Texas. And DX Engineering ships faster than anybody else in the industry. Most orders placed by 10 p.m. Eastern are shipped the same day. Proven products, expert advice. DX Engineering helps you shrink the globe. Request your catalog or shop online 24/7 at dxengineering.com/hamnation. Good stuff from DX Engineering always. Now let's get into the news of the week from Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2118, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, June 6, 2018. While most of the U.S. concentrated on their holiday celebrations over Memorial Day weekend, hams in Montana dealt with crisis conditions.
Amateur radio operators in the Billings, Montana area mobilized over the Memorial Day weekend as a perfect storm brought massive flooding to the region brought on by melting mountain snowpack, heavy rain, and an anticipated crest of the Yellowstone River. As the holiday weekend began on Friday, May 25th, Brad Shoemaker, Disaster and Emergency Services Director, turned to YERS, the Yellowstone Amateur Radio Emergency Services. 23 hams checked in and staffing got underway. 5 hams went the next morning to sandbag centers where they helped manage traffic and to ensure no one ran out of bags or sand. Others staffed the Emergency Operations Center and Net Control, while still others served as loggers tracking callouts. By Monday, as the anticipated rainstorm began to hit hard, hams were dispatched for river watch duty and at roadway locations to identify any threatened bridges, flooded roads, and other trouble spots listed by the county. The damage ultimately turned out to be less than expected. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Radio amateurs in Scotland are going to be mighty proud later this year. The Pocket Cube satellite they constructed at Alba Orbital in Glasgow is being prepared for launch sometime during the third quarter of this year.
It'll be sent into space from Kodiak in Alaska on board a rocket of Vector Launch Incorporated for a mission that's expected to last about 45 days. The launch is considered a milestone for Scotland's space industry and will mark the first time an orbiter built there has not been piggybacked aboard another launch vehicle. Alba Orbital has collaborated on the project with the University of Aachen in Germany, as well as its amateur radio club DL0FHA. The satellite has been named the Unicorn 2A, and it will have downlinks in both the 437 and 2400 MHz bands, and one of its transmission modes will be LoRa, L-O-R-A, long-range, low-power wireless platform. The Unicorn is the creator of amateurs Konstantin Konstantinidis, MM6XOM, Alejandro Gonzalez Garrido, EA7KDU, and Simon Chasco, 2M0DSY. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
A team of hams in Dayton has discovered that even though Hamvention is over, there's a really good way to keep that Hamvention feeling aloft. Launch a balloon.
It's helium-filled, it's high-flying at 30,000 feet, and it's communicating with the world via APRS as it circumnavigates the globe. This is the balloon that was launched just outside Building 5 on the Greene County Fairgrounds on Saturday, May 19, from Hamvention. 1 week later, the Mylar balloon and its 13-gram payload, which includes a 25-milliwatt solar-powered transmitter, headed toward Morocco and points beyond. These launches are nothing new, said Joe in 8QOD, the committee chairman for the Dayton Amateur Radio Association. In fact, Bill Brown, WB8ELK, who oversaw the technical side of the beacon's launch, has sent quite a few balloons into space, including one launch for a school in which the balloon has already gone around the world 4 times, Joe said. Reports have already come in from Nova Scotia, the Azores, and the Canary Islands as the balloon, traveling at 55 miles an hour, travels powered by the wind and that Hamvention spirit. Keep listening. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
For the rest of this week's Amateur Radio News, please listen to the full Amateur Radio Newsline report online on a repeater near you or on shortwave radio station WTWW at 9930 and 5085 kilohertz. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Andy Morrison, K9AWM, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Well, this is where we normally see Dr. T via videotape, but unfortunately, she's a little bit under the weather, as I am as well. You can probably hear in my voice. I've had 2 bouts of this stuff now, and she's seriously under the weather. A lot of other people are, too. I don't know if it's a cold or if it's just the allergies that are going around. But nonetheless, we've got a solar update report for you from her via me. So looking at the solar storm conditions and the aurora outlook, she says we're being hit by what looks like a mini stealthy solar storm right now that's brought active conditions down to mid-latitudes. However, as the storm continues over the next day, it looks like it might flip into a configuration that will actually help the ham radio bands. Plus, on the night side, you may be able to work auroral propagation modes over the next 24 hours. After that, expect things to remain around unsettled conditions for the rest of the week as Earth passes through pockets of fast solar wind due to a remnant coronal hole. And turning to the solar flare and particle radiation storm outlook, the sun is once again spotless. The only numbered region on the Earth-facing disk rotates out of view. Expect to hang on to marginal propagation for the next day or so before the solar flux drops, and then we're back into poor propagation conditions. Luckily, we may only have to wait about a week or so before a new bright region rotates into Earth view from the sun's backside and boosts the solar flux one more time. And, of course, you can always follow her on Twitter and Periscope. I highly suggest you do. At Tamitha Skov. You can find her at Twitter and Periscope by that handle, at Tamitha Skov. And spaceweatherwoman.com is her website. So, by all means, subscribe to her and follow her if you don't already. So, by all means, do that. Another bright star that we have around here, of course, is Valerie. And Valerie has a new last name now. Valerie and Jerry tied the knot. Congratulations to the newlyweds. Val, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hang on. Let me... A little high. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. We did. We finally tied the knot. I got my ring.
Good deal.
Here we go.
That's hilarious.
But I kept my name. I'm still Hatzfeld. It's too much work to change my name. So I'm still Hatzfeld, Valerie Hatzfeld, but yep, Jerry and I took the plunge. And I think Victor wanted me to send him that other picture. Did you get the other picture, Victor?
No, not yet, but I'll show it later.
Okay. Speaking of brides, too, I want to send out a quick congratulations to Carmen. Andy Anderson, who you guys know, ex Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Yankee Juliet, but now he's Kilo Papa 4 Alpha Alpha November. As you recall, he was the engineer the ham that was stationed at the dam, and he ended up falling in love with the engineer, and they got married down while we were in Puerto Rico. We were deployed there, and she just got her license. She's still waiting for a call sign, but congratulations, Carmen. Welcome to the world of amateur radio. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I kind of moved where I'm sitting today. Just kind of showing off our new Geochron. This thing is great. It's a lot cheaper than the old version because this uses sort of a computer box there. It's like a little Xbox thing with a remote control, and you can do different things on the back there. And we just love it. And I think they run $399 is what they're running at Geochron or at DX Engineering or your favorite candy store. But they're really wonderful, especially if you're into contesting or chasing that rare DX, which we've got a big one coming up. Don talked about it earlier. Baker Howland is coming up real soon here. And so I have with us Don Greenbaum, N1DG. Now, he was licensed back in 1962. What was your call sign then?
WN2DND.
And you were 11 years old. I can't even imagine at 11. That's probably one of the younger licensees I've ever heard of.
Or the oldest ham you've heard of.
Did you have a dad or a grandpa or somebody who was a ham?
My dad was WA2UDV, and my brother and sister were both licensed.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, Don has also got 359 DXCC entities and 3,085 on the challenge. And I just want you to know, Don, you just scared Jerry because he's at 3,090. So you're nipping at his heels. So now he's really worried because I know 6 meters has really had some good openings on the East Coast. So he's worried you're going to pass him up. So he's going to get to work this weekend. We're going to be in that June VHF contest. How about you?
Absolutely.
All right.
And congratulations on marrying my DP8ORK teammate, Jerry.
Jerry says thank you. Those two, you and Jerry, were on a DXpedition together, and that was the Victor Papa 8 ORK, right? Is that the call sign? Yeah, that was before I was DXing, and I think we have a shot of you on South Orkney. But you've been on quite a few DXpeditions. South Orkney, Midway, Bhutan. We're all DXpeditions of the year. You've also operated from the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Mozambique, Wake, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Israel, and Singapore. That's a lot. So let's talk about Baker Howland. I know you got that coming up real quick here. And let's kind of get into a little bit of the history that those students, I think Victor was just showing those students there. There's a lot of history to this island, right, Don?
In the 1930s, they took some students from Hawaii to set up an attempt to colonize or inhabit both Baker and Howland Islands. It didn't last that long because, as you can see, there are no trees or shelter, and World War II came. So it was short-lived, but during the war, it was a Coast Guard base. It's also very historical because in the late 1930s, Amelia Earhart left Papua New Guinea, and she was headed for Howland Island with Baker Island, which had a landing strip, as the backup. And unfortunately, as we all know, she never made it to either Baker or Howland. So we're commemorating this DXpedition in her memory.
Well, it's the 81st anniversary coming up, I think July 2nd or something like that, right?
That is correct.
A lot of history, and that's pretty cool that you guys are going there right at this time. Now, I know you're one of the co-organizers with Kevin, Kilo 6 Tango Delta, and Tom, November 4 X-Ray Papa. But I noticed Tom, he's not on the on-island team list. He's helping to organize it, but he's not going?
He was on the team, and unfortunately, because of a medical issue, he had to bow out. But he's very much involved, and we talk almost daily with coordinating everything from shipping to band plans. So he's still very much involved.
Well, okay, this is number 5 on the most wanted list, so this is up there. I need it as an all-time new one. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there do as well. So when are you guys leaving? What, and how are you getting to Baker?
So some of us fly through Hawaii to Pongo Pongo. I'm flying via Fiji, and we're all meeting on the 19th of June. We board the Naya, which is our charter vessel, and it's a 6-day cruise, which puts us at Baker Island on the 26th of June. We anticipate 1.5 days setup, which means on about 0000 UTC on the 28th of June, we should be on the air with 8 stations. We'll be operating for 10 days, and then we take a 6-day cruise to Fiji, where we'll all depart for our homes, which means most of us will be away from home for a month.
A month. That's a long time.
A long time.
And you're going to be on all modes, and I see you're also going to be on FT8 as well, right?
we worked with Joe Taylor on trying to increase the amount of cues you can make in this new digital mode. We have the ability to have 5 QSOs simultaneously. We worked with Joe for the last 6 months, testing and beta testing, and we believe it will serve 2 functions. Marginal bands that do not support CW and sideband, our 2 primary modes. We'll use FT8. And of course, we're arriving at the height of the East season on 6. So we'll be doing a lot of FT8 and using WSJTX as a beacon on 6. But most of our focus is all-time new ones. We will be on 20 meters with stations around the clock, and we'll branch out on the other bands from there.
So you're on basically 6 through 160, correct?
Including 60 meters, correct.
And just for you people out there, at the end, I'm going to show you their website. They've got a really good how-to on there for doing FT8, on how to do the FT8 operations and set that up and make sure you get like a Dimensions 4 on your system and make sure you're time synced and all that. But so I know when it came to equipment, I think I have a couple of equipment photos. Victor just showed one. And then you don't really talk a lot about your radios and your antennas because it said to be shown at a later date. So what antennas are you going to be using and what kind of radios?
Well, Elecraft has given us 8 stations of K3S transceivers, KPA 500s. One of our team members is bringing his brand new KPA 1500. DX Engineering has been great. Tim has given us coax, filters, connectors, masks, guy wires, you name it. We sent him a huge shopping list, and all he did was ask for the address. So thanks, Tim. Additionally, since we're an all vertical DXpedition because of our permit, Stepper gave us IRs, big IRs, and AA7JV built a special vertical for 160 meters. Bob Heil gave us Pro 7s, so we're looking forward to using them.
Now I see Glenn Johnson there donated a sat phone. I don't know if you need another one, but Don, if you want, we've got a sat phone. We also have our InReach. These are great. I don't know if you want to borrow these. We'll, Jerry and I'll ship them off to you if you guys want to take our sat phone and our InReach.
Great.
This is great. You can do the APRS thing with this too.
We have 2 InReaches, and we have 2 sat phones.
Are you going to be doing APRS so we can follow you along?
Yes, and on our website, we'll be putting up a link as we depart, so you can follow us across the ocean.
And also, I have if you want to show slide 16, it's number 5, so it is going to be very difficult to get through, especially at first, and so you should really go to the website here and go through how to get in the log. And basically, they have a best practices guideline right here, and you really need to follow this. For those of you just starting off DXing, when you listen to some of these phone pileups especially, they're out of control. They'll ask for a Kilo Tango 2 and Alpha Bravo 7 will come back to the call. It's just, please try and be orderly and it makes things go so much faster. These guys are all good. They can do 250 an hour if a good rate, if everybody's behaved out there. And when you get all this other stuff going on, it cuts their QSO rate in half. Right? I mean, it's kind of frustrating to listen from our end. I can't imagine how you guys hear it on your end, but really the more orderly everybody is, the faster you guys can go, right?
The key words are listen, listen, listen. Listen to the pileup. You'll see a hole. You'll understand that some operators like to tune up the band and down the band, and others just hang on the edges. And the people that are on this team have all been all over the world. We can put you in the log, so just be patient. We'll get to you.
And listen, like he said, if they're asking for a Kilo Bravo 2 and you're not a Kilo Bravo 2, don't go back. Don't respond. Just wait for your turn.
Appreciate it. That's right.
We all would appreciate it. And there's 15 ops, lots of radios, lots of bands. You're going to get a lot of opportunity to get in the log. So, and remember, listening to you, we hear you give your call sign when you're not following the rules. You know what I mean? So the whole world listens. So try and do good practices. The DX Code of Conduct is a really good thing to follow, especially when it comes to these rare ones. And speaking of which, now, how are you going to do QSLing? Is that going to be OQRS? Is it going to be uploaded on Club Log daily, weekly? How are you going to do that?
We hope we have a BGAN satellite link. We hope to upload the logs every 12 hours. We will turn OQRS on Club Log when we get back and we've made sure all the queues are on Club Log. So it's a 6-day voyage back after we QRT. We expect to turn on OQRS shortly thereafter. And as you apply for an OQRS QSL, we'll also do an LOTW upload. And the Dateline DX Association, historically, all donors before we go will have an LOTW upload also when I get home.
So do you guys hear that? Go on the website if you want to. If you know you're going to donate anyway, donate before the DXpedition, because that's when they need the money. They need the money now, not when they get back. After, they have to pay for everything as they go, the boat, the fuel, all that stuff. So if you donate now, you're automatically going to get the LOTW update. So go to the website and you can hit the donate. You're going to do it anyway. You're going to get through. You might as well do it now. And we always like to do our donations beforehand. But some of you want to make sure you have the contacts, and OQRS is great too. And for those of you who don't know, you just go into Club Log, and you can go into the log check, put in their call sign, Kilo Hotel 1 / Kilo Hotel 7 Zulu, and then it'll ask you to put your call sign in, and it'll show you all the places you worked them, and then right from there you can go into a little shopping cart and click all the bands you want confirmed, and you can do it that way as well. And OQRS usually doesn't come up, till like a week after you get back, something like that?
That's correct.
You're going to pull the trigger? Okay. All right. So after this one, how many DXpeditions is that going to make for you, Don?
This is number 15.
15. And I don't know if I mentioned at the top of the hour, but in 2005, Don was inducted into the CQ DX Hall of Fame. And that could be one of the reasons why. 15 DXpeditions, that's a lot. And Godspeed. Have a great DXpedition. Hope everybody stays safe, and I hope to get you on like 27 bands.
Band slot. Thank you. Well,
that's what I meant.
I hope operator on at least 20 of them.
Well, we got those new really low ones now. No. Great. Thank you guys, and appreciate you showing up tonight. I know you're busy because you're going to be leaving in less than 2 weeks.
In a week.
A week.
So
good luck, everybody, and say hi to the team. And I know Jerry wishes he was going. He's really wishes he was going to this, but appreciate it, Don, and you take care. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good night.
All right. Good night. And don't forget this weekend, as mentioned earlier, the June VHF contest is on this weekend. A lot of opportunity to get some good things in your 6-meter log or 2-meter or 440, whatever you want to do. But VHF's a lot of fun. And 6 has been having some nice openings. So hopefully I'll see you guys on the air this weekend. And I think that's it for me today. I'm going to head it back to Don.
Thank you, Darwin, and congratulations on the nuptials. That's it's very good. You guys.
He went willingly. So
that's a great picture. I love how I love how he's hanging on and the carpet's bunching up around your feet. That's just the best. That's brilliant. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
All the best. Wow, it's very, very cool stuff. Well, let's talk about a mortgage because, you know, if you want to put a tower up, you're going to have a piece of land. And if you're going to have a piece of land, you're probably going to have a mortgage. And so that's why Ham Nation is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. And quite frankly, the mortgage experience was behind the times. It was dated. It needed a client-focused technological revolution. And that is exactly why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or doing a refi on your existing home loan. Could not be easier. You can fully understand all the details and be confident that you're getting the right mortgage for you. It's also very convenient. They have trusted partners that allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. It's extremely powerful. Where you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, Rocket Mortgage will help you perform thousands of calculations. It'll do it for you, in fact, in seconds. And based on your income, assets, and credit, Rocket Mortgage can analyze all of the home loan options for which you qualify and find the one that is just right for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/hamnation. That's rocketmortgage.com/hamnation. Rocketmortgage.com is an equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access.org number 3030. And thanks for helping us out with Ham Nation. Time to see what's going on with George.
Well, good evening, Don. What's going on with me is I am thinking about field day because it's not very far off now. And I'm going down my list and checking it twice and seeing what I need to bring with me this year. You know, it's always a good idea to have a little test equipment with you every time you're going out in the field and going to play radio. So I just thought I'd show you a few things here that I always like to have along. First off, well, I don't have a SWR meter here on the table, so we will skip past that one tonight, but that's just something just about everyone needs to have, although I have something else I could use for that here. First up, though, you're going to want a volt ohm meter of some type. This is my trusty old Simpson 260. That would be great because you might want to check voltage and polarity on your power supplies, as well as check conductivity on a cable or check it for shorts. I probably won't take that one, though. I'll probably just take a little cheap digital meter. It would be fine. I'll probably take my Fluke just because it's in my toolbox. But, you know, one of these would be just great because you don't really need accuracy for field day. You just need something to let you know if the cable's good or if it's bad and what your battery voltage is like. Something else I like to carry is one or more of these. And this right here is the MFJ 259C antenna analyzer. This is what you use to check your antenna system out and your coaxes without SWR meter. One of these is great right here. This is probably the most popular one in the world, MFJ 259. However, there's a lot of other good ones around too. This is a Rig Expert right here with a digital display on it. These work great and allow you to see a good portion of the band at once. So yeah, an antenna analyzer would be very handy. Don't have to have one. You can get by with the SWR meter. If you got one, though, it just makes setting up your antennas and checking them out a little quicker. If you're going to carry one of those, or even an SWR meter, you might want a dummy load. These are pretty handy to have, and you know, you can stick that out on the end of your coax and find out if it's good or not, if you've got some kind of problem. Be nice to have that. Something else that's nice to have is one of these little deals right here. This has got power pole connectors on one end. The other end of it's got a bicolor LED on it. You can plug this into the power pole connector on your power supply or cable, and it will give you the polarity. This particular one will be green if everything's good, or red if you've got reverse polarity. And that's something you want to be careful of in an event like field day where you might have multiple people bringing different radios and power supplies to the event. It's easy to reverse the order on these power pole connectors here when you're making your cables up. You want to be sure that yours matches the ones that you're going to be plugged into. So some way of doing that, and this is a real convenient method right here. Something else that, most people probably won't carry this. Most people probably don't have it, but if you do, you might want a megger or a megometer. And what this is basically it's an ohm meter. Electricians use them a lot, but they're also used in, I would say, a lot of radio industries. We use them in broadcast a lot for checking cables. This, rather than just a standard voltometer with a 1.5 volt battery in there that's going to go out the leads to check continuity, this one right here puts out about 1,000 volts, and it will check down, I believe this one goes all the way to 1 gig ohm. What that's going to do is tell you if there's any kind of insulation breakdown in that cable. It'll allow you to check it better, really, for that type of error than you're going to find that you're able to do with something like a regular voltometer or even an antenna analyzer. Antenna analyzers are great for, checking the bandwidth and the RF performance of a cable. This right here will tell you if that cable is capable of really withstanding a lot of power on it. So a megometer, that's nice to have. And just one other thing I want to mention that I always carry along, and that's a box like this full of various RF adapters, because you don't know what you might need to hook up out at the field day site, or if you're going to test something. Here's, just a regular PL259 to a type in. That can be real handy. I've got virtually everyone known to man, except probably the one that I will actually need. But I try to keep a variety of them in there. And, you probably won't need them. But if you do, you'll kick yourself, man, if I just brought my RF adapters. Well, that's my rundown on some test equipment that you should consider taking to field day with you. And next week, I don't know, maybe we'll talk a little bit about some tools that you'll want with you as well. But right now, I'm going to give away something. I asked a question last week on Smoke and Solder. What are you doing for field day this year? And I got an answer. Well, I got a lot of answers, but this one comes from Russ Kaufman, N3YI. And Russ said, George, I'm doing what I do every year. We set up at a nearby park with a large military surplus wind-up antenna, tents, mobile gear, and a couple of stations. And we get a lot of passers-by asking questions. It's a great way to get new hams into our club. Hope you have a spectacular field day this year. Well, I hope we do too, Russ, and I hope you do too. We've got a great prize for you here. You will want this at field day, and they should get it right out to you because I've already told them. DX Engineering is going to be sending you one of these nice DX Engineering sport bags. I use mine at field day or any event. It's large, got a lot of compartments in it. Great to carry, your wardrobe or radios or cables or whatever you need to take with you to field day. You'll look good doing it, and it'll be practical with this DX Engineering sport bag. Next week, I've got something else we're going to give away here, and I'm going to ask the same question because, Russ and a number of other people answered that question for me, but a lot of people don't or didn't this time around. And that concerns me. That makes me think a lot of you are going to be sitting at home for field day, and, we can't have that. So start making some plans. And let me know what you're going to be doing. hamnationcontest@gmail.com. And next week, you might be our winner, and you could win one of Gordo's books, Technician Class, General Class Study Guide, Extra Class Study Guide. Gordo's going to help make you a ham or help you to upgrade. Or if you're already upgraded, why not win the book or grab one of Gordo's books, give it to a friend or to a kid, help someone else get into the hobby, because you're not going to find a better resource for studying for your exams than Gordo's Ham Radio Study Guides, Gordon West Radio School. You can also find them at just about every ham radio dealer that's out there. I'm sure you can get those at DX Engineering as well, or just about any ham fest. Somebody's going to have Gordo's books there. HamNationContest@gmail.com. Tell me, what are you going to do for Field Day this year? Well, we'll be back in just a moment because I've got a radio to give away here. But first, let's get a message from ICOM. Calling all stations. Make sure you grab your ICOM gear for the most popular on-air event, Field Day, June 23rd and 24th. Let ICOM help you make the most contacts or practice for emergency situations. The SDR every ham wants, the IC7610, and it's just in time for Field Day. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent channels. The new ICOM 7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receivers, and dual digicell. Don't forget to bring along the perfect Field Day companion, the IC7300. Ideal for the ham on the go, it's a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. The sky's no limit for the IC9100. It's an all-in-one HF, VHF, UHF rig. No matter if you're working DX QSOs, RIDI, D-Star DV, satellite, or even moonbounce, ICOM's years of experience is working along with you. Independent dual receivers, satellite mode, built-in antenna tuner, and digital IF filter. Learn more about all the great ICOM radios for Field Day. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur today. And you can tune in and enter to win after each episode of Ham Nation. Go to icomamerica.com/hamnation and register to win for great swag prizes like t-shirts and hats. While you're there, learn how you can win in the monthly grand prize drawing for a new radio. And we've got a winner. For May, the prize was the entry-level D-Star mobile with big rig features, the ID 4100. The winner, Carol S. W8EWE. Congratulations, Carol. You're really going to like that radio. But the rest of you, after this episode and each episode of Ham Nation, I want you to go to icomamerica.com/hamnation and register to win, because for June, we've got another great radio. It's a great entry-level D-Star handheld, the ID31A Plus, a UHF transceiver with IPX7 waterproof rating. The new terminal mode and access point mode will enable you to make D-Star calls through the internet, even in areas where there aren't D-Star repeaters accessible. It's got the DV fast data mode and the DV and FM repeater search functions. A lot more, too. So go to icomamerica.com/hamnation after this and each episode of Ham Nation and register to win. Sign up, good luck, and don't forget to follow ICOM America, Inc. on Facebook and Twitter. And if you're looking for something to do this Friday night, Tommy and Peter and Email and I are going to be shooting the next Amateur Logic, and we've got all the footage that we brought back from Dayton, some fun stuff in there. So join us over at amateurlogic.tv. That's live.amateurlogic.tv. Friday at 8 Central at 0100 UTC. We'll be glad to have you, and we'll be having fun, so come join us. And now, speaking of having fun, I know Amanda is bound to have some questions for us tonight, and maybe a little information as well and some updates. Amanda, what's going on out west?
Hey, we're dry, and a lot of us are on fire. Thank goodness nowhere near home, but still Colorado and New Mexico are on fire. Be careful out there if you're going to travel west. Second thing, first, congratulations, Val and Jerry. I was so happy. I love those pictures on Facebook. Thanks for sharing with us all. Keeping us in your lives just makes us more of a family, so congratulations. And by the way, I never changed my name after 12 years now because it's too much of a pain in the you-know-what. So, second, I wanted to show you guys, since Bob brought up Normandy, I wanted to show you guys my grandpa, and he was there, and he helped free the Dachau, I think that's how you pronounce it, Dachau, Germany concentration camp. So I'm going to show a couple pictures of him, and they're horrible because they're really small, but this is my grandpa, lower a little bit, Victor Jackson. And he was a tank. I don't know how really he was called, but he was like a tank battalion commander. And let me put this one in there. Oh, that's horrible. I'm sorry. But there was his tank. And he's the tallest one there. He's really a tall guy. Anyhow, he said that's his, on the back of the picture, it says his tank and his crew. I have some really gruesome pictures too from when he was there, and nobody wants to see those, but basically some pictures of shoes piled 50 feet high by 75 feet wide, some really horrible things. But he did come home and he survived and made us, my mom first, obviously, but he came home on the Queen Mary. So this was his thing, and I tried to look for the certificate real quick, but I couldn't find it in my box of stuff from him. And it's just really heartfelt that Bob brought that up tonight. So anyhow, thank you, Grandpa, for your service. He's gone now, of course, but all right, let's see. Bob wanted me to mention that K3 TangoUniformGolf.com shows you where 6-meter signals are and when they're active. It's a great tool, especially on field day. And please check it out and see what you can do with that. And I just looked at dxmaps.com and I saw that
K3TUQ, right?
Yes, K3TUG.com. I saw that.
TUG or TUQ?
G, golf. Anyhow, I saw that 6 is open here in Colorado, so we're going to have to get active on that after I get off the show here. All right, George, this is a question for you. Spike says, I have to replace the balun on my off-center fed dipole cut for 80 meters. Is it a 4-to-1 or a 9-to-1? He forgets. He thinks it's 4-to-1. What do you say?
The information I've, gone by when I built mine were to use a 6-to-1, but a 4-to-1 will work. And, it's pretty unusual to see a 6-to-1. So I think probably most people are using 4-to-1s on them. You'll probably be okay with either one, especially if you've got a tuner.
It's not coming up.
So, Val, the next couple of questions are for you. We've got Baker Island coming up. So he didn't, as far as I know, I had to shut it down here so that I could get called up. But
are you sure?
Is he going to be, are they going to be running FT8? That the most popular digital mode ever now? Is that in their plans?
Yeah, they are going to be running FT8, and there's a whole how-to on their website. And, I'm sure it'll probably be hopefully on 6 meters. I don't know what all bands are going to do it on. But propagation being what it is, look for them on FT8 a lot more than most DXpeditions, as we are at our solar minimum. And what's that website? N3TUQ. And that website is N3TU Quebec. November 3 Tango Uniform Quebec, because we have that up all the time on our thing. I always forget what the website is because it just comes up automatic. We have it set to come up automatically, and that shows all the 6-meter back and forth, and you can see where it's rolling, rocking and rolling.
Okay, N3TUQ. Got it. Thanks, Val, for the correction there. And one other thing, we know how these DXpeditions work when you're trying to work a DXpedition. They're almost always running split. Is that correct?
That is correct. They will be running split. Just assume they're running split always.
Okay.
And if you want more information, can Victor show that last slide I sent him? I never showed it. If you don't want to go to and check out their website, it's Baker2018.net. Baker2018.net. And they got a lot of great information on propagation, what bands are and modes, and how the best way to get through, and what their planned frequencies are. So a lot of wealth of information on their website.
Okay, one other thing. When I'm trying to work DXpeditions, and they are working split, and you get this person that says, they're up 10. They're up 10. I mean, how do you feel about that, Val? Is that the correct way to do that, or should you ID?
A lot of people make mistakes and they run split, and they realize their mistake and they're going to move. But then a lot of the cops get out of hand as well. Sometimes the cops are just as bad as the people who don't know they're running split. So if the guy keeps doing it over and over and over again, sure, someone needs to tell him. But first time, they're probably going to figure it out. But it is what it is. It just gets so unruly out there. Just everybody put split on. As soon as you turn your radio on while you're waiting for your amp to warm up, throw on the split. Yeah, and then remember to turn it off. This is where I run into trouble, because you have it on and then you work some guy down the band who's not split, and I'm calling in the split pileup. But it's better to have it on when you don't mean to than to have it off when you need to.
I've been there before. I've accidentally done that and said, "Is this frequency in use or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I just worked up. Oh man, how embarrassing."
But good thing you can't hear what they were saying, right?
Exactly. But they probably came back to me and like, the YL, go ahead.
8 times.
Yeah. So anyhow, let's go to Don. Don, we've been following you and Tyler's graduation. We just want to know, is Tyler going to look forward to upgrading to general? Is he going to start getting more active on the air during his summer break? What's going on with Tyler? Tell us about him.
It's interesting. He hasn't had time to do any ham radio hardly at all, other than talk to me a couple of times on an HT since he got his license almost a year ago. But he came in here just the other day and said, I really need to figure out how to use this whole ham radio thing since I've got my license now. And so we actually talked about that. And I told him, I said, whenever you're ready to start upgrading to general, you can get on this 7600 right here. And that's where all the fun's going to begin. So, but he's been so busy with school, and now he's busy with work and trying to get ready to figure out what he's going to do in college and possibly the military. I don't know. We're trying to see what's going on with him. But getting back to the D-Day thing just a minute ago, 74 years ago today was D-Day. And when Tyler was very young, he was 8 or 9, I guess. So maybe it's been 8 or 9 years ago. We were invited, he and I were invited to go visit the National World War II Museum, which is here in New Orleans. It was called the D-Day Museum back then, with the father of a friend of ours, a broadcasting friend of mine, who his father was at D-Day, and he was in 101st Airborne in the gliders. They had these huge gliders that obviously were unpowered, but they were full of troops and equipment, and they were sitting ducks literally because they couldn't power out of the way of being shot down. And 90% of those brave souls lost their lives in the gliders that day. Well, Mr. Watkins was one of the lucky ones who survived, and we were able to go and visit the National World War II Museum with him and his family, and it was just an immense honor. Mr. Watkins has since gone on to his heavenly reward, but I highly recommend the National World War II Museum here in New Orleans. It's literally like a block and a half, 2 blocks away from where I work, so it's a short walk up there for me. But it's one of the best museums in the world, and certainly one of the best museums in the country. And if you ever get a chance to come to New Orleans, by all means, get a chance to go there. They've got the Pacific Theater and the European Theater depicted as well, and a whole 4D, totally immersive exhibit area that will absolutely take you there. It's just incredible. So by all means, put that on your travel list, the National World War II Museum here in New Orleans.
Thank you, Don. And in fact, I was looking at some place where I could get these pictures to, kind of museum, because that's where I believe that they belong, especially with the history, and they're very unique photos. It wasn't taken by a photojournalist or anything like that. So I'd really like my grandfather's pictures donated somewhere. So I'm gonna contact you later. Yeah, because I'd like to just scan them and have copies and then send them away because it's important history. So, all right, with that, let's go over the nets. We have 14 Charlie for the D-Star net. We have Echolink on Dewdrop In. We have TAC 311 for DMR. 7192 for 40 meters. And I think, you guys, I didn't see Steve in the chat. So 20 meters might not be a go. And I hope that you all know that he's a volunteer firefighter. So sometimes he gets called away. So if he's not on 14268, that's probably why. Other than that, that's all I have. Back to who's wrapping this up? Is it your turn, George, or is it you, Don?
I'm not sure. You want to wrestle for it, George?
I would love to see this.
Nominate you.
Okay.
You've had a busy week of wrestling already, so
yeah,
I know you'll come out on top.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I got a Cuban cigar in the mail, and I got some hate mail via email, and so I always love going through the email, and so we'll just take care of that one right there.
Ooh,
thank you for your input.
Dang.
We'll consider that and get back to you. All right, well, that'll take care of that for tonight. But the Cuban cigar was awesome, and there's nothing wrong with a little hate mail. It kind of, if you're not, you got to take the good with the bad. If you're not messing somebody up, you're not doing your job. That's the way I see it. So there you go. All right, well, enough of that. I wasn't even going to mention it, but since George alluded to it, and if you have anything at all, positive or negative, to send to me, by all means do. My email is very easy to find. Just look me up on QRZ. Probably any of us as well. We'd love to hear your feedback. We sure would. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up because we are horribly over time. But we had some great stuff tonight, and thank you all for helping us do what we do here at Ham Nation. We do it for you, and it's a lot of fun, and I can't think of anything better or better class of people I'd like to spend my Wednesday nights with. So from all of us here at Ham Nation, we'll say 73 good night, have fun at field day, be safe, and good DX. See y'all later.